What's going on, guys? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Jason Clark custom knives. I don't think they even have names, but I guess this will be the Tanto version of one of his knives. Very American Tanto-ish style blade here. Pretty thick stock of blade steel, which is, I think, this one is S35VN, so that's kind of cool. He puts it on the, not the blade tang, but the blade locking face. So the lock is actually down here, but on the rest of the locking face, he has the blade steel right there. Jason Clark hit the knife scene, gosh, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago. When he first started making his custom knives, everything, I think he started gaining popularity as some of the more popular knife channels were kind of promoting his work, and I've always been interested in his work. Again, this knife is my friend's knife, and so I've never owned one for myself. But every time I've seen a Jason Clark knife, I've always been pretty impressed by them. I always thought they looked cool. At the same time, they looked a little bit eccentric. Every one is different. They all use different materials. There's always going to be a different blade style. I don't think that there's any two Jason Clarks that are the exact same. He's done things between, from Persian blades to Tantos to clip points to Bowie styles to regular drop points and whatnot. And every single one, whether it's the grind, whether the compound grinds or the swedges or something's always different. The scales, they might be bolstered. He'll use micarta, carbon fiber. I've seen all kinds of things. Even his clips have started to change. He's starting to do like zirconium clips and milled clips rather than these bent deep pocket clips. He does all these holes on both sides many times, but one of his signatures is typically doing some kind of hole pattern on the lock side, which I really like, and then having this kind of filed finished back spacer, which is also titanium on here. So and again, everything is handmade. They're not like mass produced on a machine or on a CNC machine. I don't even know if he does water jetting, or if he just does all the stock removal himself. But again, this is something that kind of gained a lot of, or Jason Clark was able to gain a lot of popularity through that means of how he builds his knives. He uses IKBS, so his knives are incredibly smooth. You can see how it just flops in the frame. At the same time, no blade play or no side to side. This one has a little bit of a problem in that it fails. Well, yeah, see, I just need to push it up like that, and then you can see how it fails vertically. My friend said it didn't have any of those issues until recently. So I'm sure this is one of those things that can be fixed quite easily if you tighten the lock bar or something. But I'm sure it'd be a relatively easy fix. When you're squeezing on this knife, though, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm putting a lot of force in here, even after it's, well, maybe not. So yeah, that's slightly problematic, but I don't think that is typical of Jason's work. So just on this one, for his hardware, he just uses these little flathead screwdrivers, so similar to Emerson, really small here. So I'm imagining it's a pretty small pivot on the blade, and then but again, like fit and finish and everything on this knife is all it's all pretty good, to be quite honest. The grinds are a little bit uneven on the swedge here, but again, just evidence of full hand custom work on these things. The Tanto grind is really nice. Not very sharp though, to be honest. But that's a flat, or that's a, I think it's a zero grind. Yeah, it's a zero grind on that Tanto. So anyway, one other thing to note really quick about the Jason Clark is this filed grip on the flipper. At first, when you first use it and you pull it out of the package and you flip it, you're like, wow, that really grips the finger great. You can see how smooth that is. Just of course, every time I say that, it never does, so it looks really stupid. But yeah, you can see how smooth it is right there as it falls. Not on its own weight, but just with a little tiny shake, it falls right down with that IKBS. Anyway, going back to the filing on here, it grips your finger so well, so it flips out amazingly. The problem is I've found how it's, when it's in your pocket, it just catches all the fabric. The knurled pattern on here is so sharp on these edges. It can really, you can see how it just grips my skin like that. I'll just scratch it on my nail here and you can just see how it marks the nail. That's how sharp it is right there. And you can see that it's, it cut into the nail. And so it just cuts and grabs all the cloth in your pocket as you're pulling it out. So that's a slight, inconvenience. And I'm imagining that most of the finishes on that milling right there is the same. So, one thing just to look out for, but again, this is it's a really streamlined knife, and all of Jason Clark's that I've seen, whether the Persian grind or the drop points or the clip points or the Warncliffs, they're all, very, very thin knives. So you see the Sebenza, it's got a similar profile in terms of, how much it's going to, or what that profile is going to be like in your pocket. And plus this has an even deeper pocket clip. And so it's going to really hide well in your pocket. And I think that's one of the cool things about, Jason Clark's knives. Here you have a David Sharp frame horn, again, similar profile in the pocket. The frame horn kind of sits out a little bit more in the handle. Fell halter, is going to be a little bit wider than the FLG from Brian Fellhalter. A little bit wider, a little bit shorter. And then finally you kind of see a little comparison between the Les Voorhees. This is the Abrams V2 right here. So just for ways of size comparison, these are 3.5 inch blades. The Clark, I think, is a little bit longer than a 3.5. I think it might be like 3 3/4. So there's your size comparison right there. Actually it might be 3.5. It's about the same as the my David Sharp right here, my Sharpworks. So anyway, it's a nice knife. After handling this one, I don't know if it would be one that I would go out and get. So, but at the same time, Jason Clark's work is, I think it's priced pretty reasonably. I think he's relatively easy to get on phone and to talk to and potentially get an order on, even though I heard his books might be closed. So, but definitely worth checking out. He uses a lot of different materials, so if you guys are wanting to do something special, then he's definitely available to or open to using different materials according to your own order. So anyway, that's my quick take on the Jason Clark Tanto again, custom knives. I don't think he really names his knives, so sometimes it might be a little bit difficult to kind of convey what you're looking for in a knife. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next vid. Take care. Bye.